Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I'm Abby Wellner, and joining us now is Brett Peters, Assistant Director of Notre Dame's Linked Experimental Ecosystem Facility, otherwise known as the much easier to say ND-LEEF. ND-LEEF has birdwatchers around the world excited because for the second year in a row, a pair of bald eagles has built their nest at the facility. Brett, thanks so much for joining us on this Notre Dame Day, and we're going to just jump right in.
Okay.
Why do you think those bald eagles have been attracted to the building?
Well, it's actually, there's not necessarily a building out there. It's a research facility, ND-LEEF. It's located about 5 miles north of us here at St. Patrick's County Park. And what we've done there is built experimental ponds, streams, and wetlands for doing ecological research. So it's possible that the birds came there because we built these nice ponds. So they're perched up in their nest right above our ponds, but they also use the nearby St. Joseph River quite a bit for feeding. Eagles generally eat mainly fish, so it's a great place. And we've also made a very nice environment out there. It's quiet, it's a great place for eagles to raise young. And it's really, there's been more and more eagles in this area. We're seeing them all around here more often. But the nest at ND-LEEF fledged its first chick last year, and that was the first eaglet fledged to fly out of the nest ever recorded in St. Joseph County. So very exciting, and it's just a sign of the recovery of bald eagles nationwide, really. So it's really cool to be a part of that.
That's exciting, as is everything going on at ND-LEEF. Tell us a little bit about why you're out there building the ponds and creating this facility.
Yeah, so the point of ND-LEEF is to build an environment that's kind of bridges the gap between laboratory research, which happens here on campus, and then full-blown field research, where you're going out to find a pond, a stream, or a wetland out in nature, and then find another one or two or three, and comparing between them to try to ask a question that you're interested in, ecological question. So what we did is we actually built a pair of watersheds that are identical, and we're able to manipulate one variable, whether that's water velocity or the types of rocks in the stream, or maybe even the species of organisms that are in the stream, and then measure the response to that. So it's a controlled experiment, but in nature. So it really gives us a lot of flexibility.
When did this experiment start?
Well, our first field season was in 2013. So we generally do research during the summer months. And then it shuts down, actually turn off the water, turn off some valves, and the streams run dry. So this year, starting in June, we'll be having our fourth field season.
All right, yeah, I guess it does make sense that in South Bend in the wintertime,
yes,
it's not quite as useful a space.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, and going back to the bald eagles, which have everyone so fascinated, I understand there's a camera that keeps an eye on them. Yeah,
so this spring, we installed a webcam, which is mounted on a pole, which looks out at the nest, and it's been a huge success. It's online. You can look at it at ndleef.edu/eagles, and it's a live streaming 24/7. You can't see them at night. A webcam, and it's been so interesting to watch them build the nest, and then they laid eggs, we think, about in early March. And I'm actually happy to announce that just yesterday we got our first glimpse of a baby eaglet peering over the edge of the nest. So very exciting.
That is exciting. So you were talking about the one previously that was the first ever recorded in the county. How many have there been in total?
Eaglets?
Babies, yes.
at ND-LEEF?
Yes.
So last year we had one fly. The eagles usually have 1 to 2 eaglets per nest per year. So last year they fledged one. This year we're hoping maybe we'll get 2. 2 is very common. Again, we can't tell because we can't see them. We can't see into the nest. We can just see them when they pop their heads up. Which I should also mention, we're part of the ND Day campaign. We're fundraising for the Environmental Change Initiative for a new upgraded nest, which will actually be mounted above the nest looking in, so we can see the eggs get laid, we can see the little babies hatch, and we just have a lot better idea of what's actually going on in there. So right now, we know there's one, but that's about it.
Well, that is a really compelling plug. So that's very exciting. Those votes go to your group, and you might get to see the babies come into this world. And what has the public response been like?
public response has been great. The webcam alone, we got 5,000 views on it so far. So people just love watching these eagles. I get so many people calling me up and saying, I love watching the eagles. We actually had an event in conjunction with the St. Joseph County Parks yesterday called Breakfast with the Eagles. Out at the site, we provided breakfast, and we had about 30 mostly adult learners come out, and we put on a presentation about eagle natural history, about their decline, their recovery, and then had some spotting scopes so people could watch it. And we were a little worried about weather and whether the eagles would be there, but it was just a beautiful day. And both eagles, the male and the female, made appearances. We saw the eaglet for the first time, and so we really just kind of hoped for a better event yesterday.
Well, the stars certainly aligned.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Brett,
great. Thank you so much for joining us and for telling us about this very different perspective.
Right, thank
That's
you.
really exciting. And right now we're going to head out to Notre Dame Day reporter Maria Cantanzanite. She's out in the field. Good morning, Maria. Tell us where you are and what you're up to this morning.